Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are taking a look at the brand new Chinese Tier 10 tech tree heavy, the BZ-75, a vehicle that I am personally very excited to mess around with due to the big old derp gun it features. Now, there's actually two different guns you can run on this vehicle, and unlike the E100, where the stock gun is basically flat worse, this gun actually has some advantages. More damage per minute, much better dispersion, better aiming time, much better penetration, at the downside of less alpha. So the 130mm is actually quite solid on this vehicle. However, let's be real. The majority of people grinding this tank are going to want to play with the derp gun. It has actually pretty good pen values. 263 on the standard is average. That's what you'll find for the majority of AP ammunition, and it deals 620 damage a shot. It's the Hesh that has 200 mils a pen and deals 780 damage a shot. That's really catching my eye. Now, the thing is that 200 mils a pen down at tier 8 for a vehicle like the Caliban or the Charlemagne is pretty solid. 200 at tier 10, it's going to be a little sussler, and it's going to require a lot of skill to actually work, especially when you pair on the awful 0.38 dispersion and 4 seconds of aiming time. So, I actually think this is going to be a proper hard vehicle to use correctly, and the armor profile doesn't help it much either. And rather unfortunately, the armor department is lacking when it comes to this vehicle. For example, you got a big ol' lower plate, which is about 180 thick. Not great, but it's expected as it is a major weak spot as a lower plate. The upper plate's actually pretty good, upwards of around 300mm thick. The problem arrives with the turret. First of all, the underbelly of the turret is about 270 on flat ground. I want you to imagine now, because of the way it's angled, that if you're using gun depression, yeah, it's a weak spot when you're using gun depression, only a 220 mil thick turret. That is a massive weakness, and it just defeats the purpose of armor when it's 220 mils thick, fully hauled down with enhanced on. Not only that, but you got big hatches, which are also only about 240 thick. If you're loading gold, the hatch in the center becomes a weak spot. The entire turret is a weak spot against 340 heat. Yeah, you can see the problem with the vehicle. On paper, it looks really cool, but the tank has like no armor. Now, if you're not running calibrated, it'll be a little trickier to pen, but let's be real, guys. The armor on this tank is not great, and the majority of tier 10s are going to be able to cut through you in any situation. It's a big downside, but I'm glad that Wargaming gave it weak spots, because let's be real, if it had a derp gun and no weak spots hauled down, it would be broken. But it does have weak spots. It's just a little unfortunate with how many weak spots Wargaming has given it and how vulnerable it is to high penetration heat. Essentially, if you're up against a tank destroyer, don't even bother poking. You're going to be penned every time. As usual, my first review on this vehicle is going to be a quick one, talking about the stats, how I feel this tank plays after my first two battles. Later this week, after probably 20 or 30 games in the vehicle, when I've gotten a full idea of how it plays, I've messed around with both guns, I will have a full review out on this tank, talking about everything you're going to need to know. So here we are in game number 1. On a map that I'm not all too happy to get in this tier 10. Castilla is a map that is great for mediums, and unfortunately, we are not in a medium. Oh boy. Alright, well, we'll see. We will indeed see what we're able to do. They have a Sheridan, actually 2 Sheridans, and a 183, so ain't no way I'm making my way up the heavy hill right now. Or, yeah, that's just not happening. Alright, BZ, can you please not scrape my butt? Thank you. Alright, up the hill we go. Looks like he's doing the same thing as me. Now, one thing I should mention is I actually swapped off enhanced gun lane drive for supercharger, because looking at the vehicle shell velocity made me realize that you need to run supercharger on this tank. It's just really bad. Like, you can obviously run enhanced gun lane drive, but I don't see much of an advantage when you could hit your shots a lot better at distance. So let's head up this hill. This tank is not incredibly mobile, you'll notice. It goes at a top speed of 35, which is pretty eh. And not only is it not the fastest, but as we said, its armor isn't great, so it's kind of a poor combination in that regard. Alright, well, the Sheridan's running. I don't know where the rest of their team is, but at least we were able to get up the hill. Wow, that guy's getting nuked, like, actually nuked. Okay. Well, let's see. Sheridan's just, he's out. Yeah, we're not able to hit him. Unfortunate. Okay, well, I'm just gonna chill here for now, I guess. We saw a blind fire arrive, and I don't know. This is just classic Castilla gameplay here, where nobody wants to do anything, including me. I don't want to do anything. This map's really just awful, in my opinion, the way it's designed. There's one BZ-75. The problem is they probably have tanks lined up all in the back there, and oh, there's the 183. Let's see if we can bonk that tank. Yeah, look at that. 720 damage shell into his vehicle. Okay, well, that did feel pretty nice, I'm not going to lie. I'm glad I actually waited up here, because I don't know what their team's going to do, and most likely they're going to try... What the heck, bro? What am I looking at? Alright, well, say goodbye to the Sheridan. Classic World of Tanks player right there. Yeah, guys, why would I spot in my light when I can camp? That is their other Sheridan. 100%. It could be the Yo, but I'm pretty confident that it's the Sheridan. Yeah, it's 100% that Sheridan. I'm just going to move up. I don't really know what else to do here. Okay, let's see. I like how I'm spotted. Probably a tank on mid-hill. Oh, it's the Sheridan. Great job, bro. You're so skilled. I can't. Like, what are these guys doing? I mean, we haven't really got a great example of the vehicle yet, but it has felt quite nice when it comes to the gun so far. I don't know what's a better shot. We're going to go for his side. Great example of the accuracy right there. I mean, that's the downside of a derp gun. You're going to miss every shell, even at a pretty close distance. We're only 240 meters away, and we missed the flat side of the Yo. Well, try again. Let's see if this one hits. There you go. I mean, when it hits, though, it hits hard. That is an incredible chunk of damage to just roll off of somebody on the enemy. Alright, so let's reload here. Let's see, that BZ is not looking at me currently, and, well, he wishes he was. Our Yag just took 900 off of his tank. And all that's left at this point is the enemy Badger, who appears to be in a bit of trouble. I'm not really sure what our BZ's doing as well. I'm a little confused on him climbing up the hill. We're going to load a standard HE, and look at that, 859 slap into his vehicle. Brought us up to a pretty chunky alpha, or not alpha, but total damage result of 3,600. Not a bad game for the vehicle, but we definitely noticed some downsides right out of the gate with this tank. We also noticed our teammate, unfortunate. Well, we could have gotten an extra chunk of damage, but oh well. I'm not going to complain. That was an okay game. Already I can see the disadvantages that this gun is going to feature compared to the other gun, and that is the fact that the shell velocity is not great, and the accuracy is not great, and you have to choose with refined gun or V-stabs. On a vehicle that features a derp gun that is so inaccurate on move, you have to run V-stabs, in my opinion. It's just absolutely mandatory. You could run refined, but if you're camping in this vehicle, your hatches and your major weak spots are going to become very evident. So because of that, I just think it's very important to run V-stabs and play this tank mid to front line with some support from your teammates. Now, this vehicle has an incredibly long reload. It's like 18, 17 seconds. It's ridiculously long. So if you put yourself in a position where you're easily rushed and you're running the derp gun, yeah, you can definitely be picked apart very quickly. See, the thing that always runs through my mind is, okay, right, this tank deals 780 damage with a single penning shell on the derp gun. But the problem is, you can just drive a Kron, deal 800 damage in the same amount of time it takes to aim in your shell in this vehicle, have better shell velocity, better pen, you have gold rounds, much better armor, better mobility, now that it's been buffed on the mobility. That's the thing that I always get troubled with on high alpha vehicles. Like in an E100, you've got so much HP and a lot of armor to make up for the fact that autoloaders like the Kron have that armor and the clip. But this tank doesn't really have the HP. It doesn't really have the armor, nor does it have the mobility. So, I don't know. We'll see. I've played 4 battles in the tank at this point. I'm averaging 3,000 damage just about on the dot, with all 4 being wins. Now, the wins don't really matter too much, as I don't think it's the tank that's necessarily giving me the wins. But what I can say is that the 60 TP is just better. Not only is the 60 TP faster, not only does it feature the same alpha damage, but if you want that HE, guess what? You got Tungsten, which basically is a free increase in alpha for no real downside. You have 1 degree less of gun depression, but multiple times better armor, you've got better reverse speed, and obviously you don't have a 17.3 second reload to shoot your shot. That's the problem with this tank, I feel, is that the 60 TP just kind of is better in almost every way. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the vehicle's fun, and I like the aspect of having a derp gun on a properly balanced tank, which I think Wargaming did a decent job at here, not making an overpowered vehicle with a derp gun. But at the same time, I don't love the way the vehicle plays. But yeah, we'll see. The 100 here, 70. Wow, that's crazy, game. 70 damage HE. Oh well. I don't know why our TVP's on this side of the map. He's probably, honestly, screwing our team a lot right now, but oh well. I'm just going to go wide here. They do have a 183, which is obviously a big threat at Rooney, but I'm not too worried about it. We got the 5A, and there you go, 825. I fully was willing to trade that from the VK. Being able to just chunk somebody for 800 does feel pretty insane, I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping the 100 doesn't just YOLO us, but we'll see. If he shoots, I'll YOLO him. Interesting maneuver from the enemy IS-7. Oh, 812 into the back of his turret. Oh my rat. I mean, 2 shots and we're up to 1700, which is kind of insane. I mean, think about that. Okay, well, let's reload. Got the mouse pushing in. Okay. Hoping the U-100 doesn't bonk me. VK fired. Ow. There you go. 775, not bad. But that Karo's probably going to try to nuke me. Well, actually, he might try to nuke the, Oh, well, that's going to hit me. Oh, never mind. I'm worried more about the 183, who is quite healthy, rather than the rest of their team. Obviously, I don't want to get bonked by a 183. But we're actually pretty healthy ourselves, so I'm willing to take the shot, especially if you're bad and you're going to mess it up. Pretty nice shell into the 183. Also, you guys hear those weird noises that Wargaming has added into the game, as like shell noises and things like that? Why is the Karo here, man? Alright, well, we're going to bonk the 183 if I'm going to die. There you go. 761. Not bad. We did die, which was pretty expected. But not a bad shot at all. Let's hope our TVP clears the VK. There you go. Nice. This is definitely going to be a win. I mean, the 5A's got 72 health. And the 183 is a one-shot, and there's no way he's going to kill our mouse. So, not a bad result. I think this was really a good example of the BZ's gameplay. The gun is dangerous, but it comes with some massive drawbacks for that dangerous output. I think it's a properly balanced tank, and I think it's going to be fun to play. I don't think you should grind it if you are looking to stat pad or you're looking to get as many victories as possible. I also wouldn't recommend to grind it if you're looking to earn a lot of credits, because obviously loading your premium rounds, which is how you deal more damage, costs more credits on this tank. But it's a fun tank. I mean, the gun hits really hard, and if you're able to get it to work, as you saw, you can get out some pretty nasty damage. That was a 4,000 damage game there, and pretty solid one at that. So overall, I've played 5 games in the tank. I'm going 3,200, which is all right. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. If you're grinding this line and then you end up running the 130, just why is my main question. Like, the whole point of this tank is the derp gun. don't grind this line if you're going to run the 130mm, because the BZ-75 is flat better. As I said, I think the 60 is just a better, more consistent version of this vehicle, but the dart gun can give you some laughable moments, which some of you might be looking for, as, 183 drivers do exist. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.